Hello. Now, somebody asked me to speak a little more about Jehovah, the character that in the vulgar version of the Bible, so well known, is called Jehovah, and plays the role of God. He comes out after God has retreated into his immortal deity and has finished the creation. Then Adam and Eve are made out of clay by this character, Jehovah, that shows up suddenly, and that the Jewish scholar and historian, great historian, Edward Meyer, described as a bloody, thirsty demon, a calamity without beginning or end, who shuns the light and hides in a mountain and only comes out at night. That is the description of Jehovah, of Edward Meyer. And Jesus, by all means, tells the publicans very clearly in John 8, he addresses the fact that they want to kill him and says, "Do you know that I come from God, and this is why you want to kill me? Because you come from your father, who is a criminal and a liar since the beginning of all times." And you know, where do I come from? And why don't you understand my words with spirit? It's because you do not have my word alive in you. And when he's saying my word, he is talking of the power that moves the universe, moves the atom, moves you, moves everything, and that he is and represents. So he is talking with all the strength and knowledge and power that he is. So he says, you do not understand what I am talking because you do not have that God power alive in you. So this is what he is talking to them about Jehovah, saying you are from the devil. Your father is the devil. And this is why you are my adversary. If you were of God, you would love me. But this is why you don't. So all these people that are wandering about right now, even in a very strange kind of association of like so-called Protestant Zionism and Judaism combined. You know, they call themselves Christian, but Christians they are not, in the true sense of the word, because they are connected to Jehovah, and they are connected now to the Jews, actually the European Jews, who are expecting the Antichrist as the Messiah. They're preparing things for him there, for the Messiah, for the so-called Messiah. It's the deceiver. The Muslims do not accept this adversary of Jesus as the Messiah. They accept Jesus only as the Messiah. And they expect him to come back and help their leader in Damascus when the adversary, which is the Antichrist, is supposed to be surrounding Damascus, and the Mahdi, which is the leader of the Muslims, would be cornered there by the Antichrist. Then is the moment when Jesus comes back, according to their book of knowledge. And so they wait for Jesus as the Messiah to come back, and also do the Orthodox Catholic and the traditional Catholic. So you have here a very despair expectation for the Messiah. The Muslims and the Orthodox Catholic wait for Jesus of Nazareth, the Christ, come back as the Messiah. They know he is the Messiah, and they expect him to come at that very critical moment in Damascus, where the Antichrist, which is the one that the Jews and Protestant Zionists expect as the Messiah, will be cornering the Muslim leader in Damascus. So here is a dissension between these parties that is extremely important, and maybe the cause of all these attacks on Jesus from people that ought to be serving him but are preparing in reality the way for the other. Things that you cannot comprehend are happening, that are not very clear and confuse people because of all this. What appears to be what should be is not. And so, beware and know the nature of this Jehovah. Now, the book that they claim to be following and that they accept only what is written in that book is a very perverted version since the very beginning of this book, because there was a time when the Torah, which is the original book that Moses wrote, got lost. And when it was found, and the Jewish sects, all of them knew it, the ones that had it in their possession altered it from beginning to end to give the copy to the Samaritans who were in enmity with them. The Jews and the Samaritans were having a fight, and they didn't want to give the Samaritan the book. But they were forced to, so they had Esdras, an escrivan, the scholar, and he altered the whole book from beginning to end. So what these people have, so-called Protestants, is a very altered version. It's called the St. James Bible, and that one has many versions, many interpretations. All the time is changing. So that's what is there with the book. So that's where this character, which actually is an Anunnaki demon, the so-called gods, they call them gods. And this is one of the signs that lets you know that Jehovah is not God, that he commands people in Exodus and also in Deuteronomy. He commands them, "You shall have no other God but me." If he was God, he could not say that, because he is the all. He is everything there is. There is nothing that is not part of God. He is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. He is everywhere, he's everything. So those words could never come out of God himself, but they can come out of someone who wants to be considered God, who wants very badly to be considered God, and is saying, "I am God, you have to see me like God." He is wanting to be considered God. He's not God. So he's saying, "You shall have no other gods." So there's many gods according to him, but me. So he's like an ego-defined person already that is saying that. Actually, he is the father of the ego. So even if you don't like what you're hearing about this book, do your own research. Do not take what I am saying, without question, or with anger, or with just blind acceptance. Do your own research. Find out the truth. The truth will stand always for itself. So this is the question, Jehovah. I have given you some of the Jewish, and you can find out from the Jewish people that are knowledgeable. And I have seen a Jewish lady in the internet who's telling people, "Please, you don't know what the Torah is about. What you have is a very altered book. You don't even know the meaning of it. Stop trying to impose this on us." She's right, She's saying these people are blind and they don't know what they're doing. So when you hear noise in the river, it's because it's carrying some stones. Find out what it is going on. And take care of your soul. Don't let the people misguide you and mislead you, because these are dangerous times. And you may end up in a place you don't want to be. So that's what I have to say to you about Jehovah. Watch out. If you read Deuteronomy, you will be shocked and say, "Well, who would think that this is God? This is like a demon who's giving people terrible advice, terrible things he's saying. Kill all the men, kill all the male children, take the women you want, rape them, and when you don't want them anymore, just shave their heads, throw them out in the street." I mean, it's a horror story. God would not never do that. God is love. He's not a particularized entity. fighting for its own deification. That's not God. So wake up, people. Jesus came. He gave us everything he could. His own life example, his love. He sacrificed the maximum sacrifice to buy our karma. Out of love, he didn't have to do this. He loves us because his love itself is his nature to love. Powerful entity, powerful force. The force of love will reign forever. In all the stories of all the mythologies, love is always wanted. Yeah. Because love is all there is. Remember those words and search for the reality of them. Be in peace until the next time.